Okay. It looks like it's recording now.
Okay.
That's not a professional way to start one of these podcasts.
Do you edit it all or no? It's just whatever we say from here on is what we're saying.
I don't have a lot of time, Brandon. So,
Understood.
and most of the people either know us or will like us no matter what we do. As long don't push that limit on here. But sorry that we're late for anyone who's live. No one's here yet. But sometimes, a lot of times, actually, people will come and start pelting you with questions. Don't be distracted.
Fun.
Don't take it personally. Who are you?
Who am I?
Yeah, who are we talking with today?
I'm Brandon Bozzi. We worked together at Wizards way back in the day.
That's true. And I try to start these podcasts off with a question that we answer at the end.
Okay.
And the question for you is, could you eat 50 chicken wings in 30 minutes? And I don't have any reason for asking that, but we'll talk about it.
Okay.
We'll talk about it at the end because.
And I'm not saying anything now. This is the
No, we'll talk about it at the end.
Okay.
But
teaser for the folks.
What did you do at Wizards of the Coast, Brandon? Could you tell us that?
I did a couple different things. So mainly I was on the Magic creative team. When I started there, I was teaching retail stores how to be better retail stores. And then I got hired into R&D to do like names and flavor text stuff. And then from there, more creative team stuff. Ended up on a couple of Magic design teams, kind of through that creative lens. And then I moved on to like what we called new business, which is just a bunch of random other games that we made. And then before I left, I did some digital stuff. So it's a Facebook game, Dungeons & Dragons
Adventures.
Yeah. It's fun to work on.
Yeah, one thing I've wondered about you. So you were easy pickings early on in R&D. If you had to play in the Future League, playing against Brandon Bozzi was like not a hard thing to. You would be like, okay, this is a good round for me. And I was wondering, over time, you've become kind of a pain in the butt. You're much better at games, and I was wondering if someone in R&D bit you. Like when and how did this happen that you became someone I would no longer play games for money with? You're actually very good. And if you currently play games for money and I just let out your secret, I'm sorry, but you're pretty good at games now, right? You can win on purpose pretty easily.
I think being surrounded by Pro Tour players for years in R&D was both the reason I was getting beat down a lot there and the reason that I'm better at games now. Yeah. I also kept playing games. I feel like you kind of faded off on your game playing.
Yeah, I think that's true. It takes me like 3 or 4 weeks to sharpen back up historically, but it's been like a decade since I've had to do that. So I don't know if I remember anything about play. And I don't know that I'll find out. You know, it's funny. I was talking with Justin Gary. He kind of was like, there's like a very successful person I'm aware of, and we talk about games sometimes, and like he's been like in venture capital for the last 25, 30 years of his career while we were making games, and like he grew up playing our games, the games that we worked on, the games that we made. And so, in part, we're responsible for all the terrible things that venture capitalists, have done to the earth. Like we trained them through the game designs. Is that
what we were doing? I already sometimes feel bad enough about my career, let alone the fact that now we're training venture capitalists.
No. I feel good about making Magic. I think it's a great way to grow and learn, and it's like a big undercurrent of a lot of what I'm doing. I'm like, oh, I still see parents who are like, no. My kids will never go near anything like this. And I think the internet makes us feel like, oh, everything's accepted. And I know for sure it's not. I see it very commonly. But I think that like going down like a gaming path is actually often great for the kids who do so. And so
I am sticking. Think the reason is that parents are keeping their kids away from Magic as a parent and someone who hangs out with parents?
I think they're driven as parents to raise super children. I think there are a lot of overprogrammed kids that I see in my parenting sphere that the kids are wonderful. They're developing really well, but they have like an intentionality around every little thing they do. I don't know what you would call this kind of like, it's almost like gardening to an aggressive degree where you curate so much of their development that they can't explore it all. I see it even closer, a degree closer than that, where there's just a desire to like push towards a certain way of being, persevering thinking that excludes anything that would be like what we did, which is essentially ignore the proper path for doing anything. We didn't become doctors or lawyers. We are
Sure.
completely absurd people, but I think that ended up working out to our advantage.
I think we both had families that were encouraging of the weird paths we took.
Yeah, it's funny in the book I talk about this guy Josh. He comes with us. You probably might have been at the tournament. You played in the same area as me, right?
Yeah,
And so
Philly, Jersey.
we go to this tournament in like Philly or Jersey, and this kid wins. He wins a qualifier and he qualifies for the pro tour. And his parents had told him not to go, that he can't play Magic. And we never talked to him or see him again. He never played in the tournament.
Oh
And so,
no.
like, yeah, no, it's like very personal. It's like, I don't know who you are. I don't know what his last name is. I don't know who his parents are, but like, we should talk. If you're a parent and your child is Josh and that Josh is about 45 years old, let's talk because I think you got it wrong. And
Well, how
I'm
about
sure Josh,
Josh's kids now? Like,
yeah,
is
I
Josh
hope they're
letting
not.
his kids play Magic, or is he
Or
saying
are
no
they
Magic?
scarred for life? He's like, no, you are going to get you're going to have a career in finance, and that's it. That's all you
Huh?
get. And you are my stooge.
Oh no.
No, it's fun to say. You're just an actor in my life. I'm the director, and you follow wherever I want. And
Mhm. I don't think you're
anyway,
raising your kids that way.
well, it's and I wasn't expecting you to put such a hard question. on me. No, I actually would like if I had to push them. I see people pushing. It's kind of awesome. I see people like there are people that like perform at the opera that are kids. There are people on the Olympic ski team that are kids. And I see that and I think that's really awesome. But like the thing I would push my kids to do would probably be author graphic novels because they love to draw and tell stories. And so if I
Mhm.
was to push them, I also think drawing is like this universal language that's way underrated. Being able to communicate things visually like doesn't require so much like language translation and whatnot.
Sure.
So if I've thought about it because like one could just say, "Hey, you're going to go down this weird path where you're just making graphic novels, and seeing if you can release them and having fun doing it." But I never really push them. I'm mostly like, "It's your life. I will help try to direct you, but you certainly don't need to make games or play them." But we do play games. What are you playing right now? Is that too
What am I
personal?
playing right
Wow.
now? I'm
Yeah.
playing I'm playing, Dispatch, which is
Yeah.
a kind of a interactive graphic novel,
Oh, cool.
superhero themed, but, like, really well written, um, light gameplay, but super fun, would recommend. Also playing Dispatch or no, I said Dispatch. Also
I
playing
know, but
The Bazaar,
yeah.
which is probably a game that a lot of our Magic people are playing as well. Has a lot of DNA from that group of people. Maybe even an ex Pro Tour player made it. I don't know the details behind it, but, um, really fun. Been playing that since it came out.
Let's go back to Magic.
Mhm.
Of all the blocks that you worked on, like, what's the one that, like, represents what you wanted Magic to be?
Oh, wow. Um, I think the one I remember most fondly is Ravnica. It holds a fond place in a lot of people's hearts, I know, but I feel like it was a great blend of where the creative and the design came together. Um, and that was like a goal of my time during Wizards. When I first got there, we weren't working very well together, and then over time, we got better and better at working together. And I think even now they've still continued on that trajectory.
Yeah, that's a
Me.
recurring theme. It's come up a few times where it was like, when I got to Wizards, like, design had messed up a whole bunch, and so development comes on, and then development is, tournament players that aren't necessarily, like, creative facing, except for, like, a few folks, right? And so you're in this weird spot where you're trying to find which is the right pillar to rely on, and it's all of them, and you have to figure out how to do it and get there.
Yeah.
And it requires tremendous like EQ and like the ability to speak all these different languages well, I think. And yeah, did anything that you wanted to happen, 20 years ago not happen in a reasonable amount of time? Do you still get like those sparks of like, Schneider, what the F, or other people preferably.
Like
But
creative stuff I was trying to do
yeah,
that I got
I,
blocked on by.
I, yeah, I still remember these forced meetings where we're like talking about humans and stuff. I'm like, you're driving me crazy, you weirdos.
That's what I got done though. That like race
Yeah,
class.
I know.
That's
You,
the big feather in my magic cap is there's more words on that type line now.
yeah, it worked out.
Um, but I think it worked out. Yeah, if you look at it now, I think they're leaning heavily on the ability to put content there. I was doing it from like a flavor perspective of like, hey, we gotta like, this guy's a human, this guy's a goblin. Let's put human on the human guy. But it turned out to be a very fertile game design space too.
Was there anything you really wish we hadn't done? Like from a like which block do you like look back least fondly on that you worked on?
I mean, I think there's definitely some times when I over pushed for the creative side of things and like to the detriment of magic. Um, I
Oh,
think vaguely at Kamigawa. Like, I think
oh
there's a
yeah.
lot of like really hard names in Kamigawa. I think like maybe we went too far with the legends in Kamigawa. Um, and there's, I mean, I don't blame myself entirely for that, but like certainly there's some conversations I look back and probably was on the wrong side of.
I like when you said all those things. No. Yeah, Comic was so weird. It's funny, like in the book, I talked about it a little bit. I don't talk about the book that much on here, and I'm not going to. But I had it all in Japanese and made the people translate it because it was such a weird block to me. Like you don't know what anything is, you don't know how to pronounce anything. The visuals are completely bonkers, and you know, it's funny. I kind of want to bring on like um, Elaine Chase or Henry Stern at some point because we were working on the set and development and we had shortened time. And so it was a very interesting set to put together because not only was there dissonance in the fiction and creative, but the mechanics took a long time to get to a place where we felt comfortable enough to like make it powerful, right?
Yeah.
Which would have made it more fun. It is beautiful. It's like if you did that as a one set thing and you're like, wow, it's Three Kingdoms or it's just a one time set, I think it would have been pretty special.
Well,
Um,
even as a one set
yeah,
thing, I think I would have like pushed the theme more away from the spirit theme. I think some of
yeah.
that stuff in there is cool. Like some of that super weird stuff, like mixed in, is cool. But like more ninjas, less spirits, I think is the direction. Very very high level that we should have went in.
Yes, spirits didn't connect, and if you're going to do it, you don't want it to be like this core mechanic that's a throwaway. You want it to be something that's special. And instead, it's like, hey, when a spirit dies, sometimes you get something, and it's like this is very mechanical, but not inspired at all, right? And the splice mechanic is also really. I mean, at the end, I think Rosewater and I were talking about whether to just gamble and put it on instant and sorcery so that you would at least want to use it. And I wish we had done it, but it was risky to do that, right? You're like, well, we haven't had a lot of time with this. If we just screwed up Mirrodin, the last thing we want to do is screw up another one. And then, by not gambling and doing the little scary thing, you screw up again. So, um, well, that makes a lot of sense. Um, well, cool. What happened after? So you worked on Tiny Adventure. Tiny Adventures was actually really cool, right?
Yeah, it was super fun to work on, fun group of people, and then pretty loved for its like
Yeah.
pretty quick to put together game. And we were competing with like Mafia Wars at the time or whatever else was on Facebook, and like we had pretty good numbers. So it was fun to be working on that. And then Wizards just shut everything down. Um, their that little digital department. Um, but I continued to work on Facebook games after that.
Yeah, it's something that I was talking about with Barkley, and it came up in a conversation yesterday. When you're at a company that's trying to grow, there's this weird accordion effect where you'll see like, oh, let's do a whole bunch of things. We'll do the charm game, like that was going on, Hecatomb,
Like,
Dreamblade,
yeah,
all these weird things. And then you're like, why are we doing any of this? And you contract back to the initial focus. You're like, hey, maybe we should just make Magic good. Maybe
yeah,
D&D is a thing that we should just focus on. And then
yeah.
it happens again within and so there's this weird accordion, and it's trying to figure out how to balance aspiration versus cost well is really like and art. And it was similar. Like you think about it from like an organizational perspective rather than just magic. I think the organization was also trying to learn how to calibrate and think about how to work together to make anything new happen well. Because there was a real drought for a while. Harry Potter misses,
Mhm.
Star Wars misses, sports stuff doesn't really hit, and so it was really interesting to revisit that. If you were attacking games now or card games now, it's an entirely different set of problems to go after. We don't have to talk about that now, but I do think it's an interesting question of like, what would you do
Yeah,
if you in the current landscape? Yeah,
I think we were like searching for the next magic, right? Like that was kind
yeah,
of the mentality of like, okay, what's the next magic? Well, turns out we didn't need to be searching for the next magic. Magic is evergreen, right? And so doubling down
yeah.
on that would have been better. From the digital perspective, though, I think we over contracted. Like we definitely went too far with like Gleemax and all that stuff that didn't quite work out. But then when that accordion came back, I think we went too close. I think there was still some room in there to make some cool stuff, and but we were like pushing far away from it because we went too far.
Climax is a little bit of a trigger word for me, but it's the world is fine where it is right now. It wasn't a bad idea. It actually, when you think about Steam and a place where gamers can interact and be, Discord
Like
isn't
Discord,
a
yeah, right?
relative.
Like,
Yeah,
yeah, like in some parallel universe, it could have been Discord, right? And like that would have been amazing. But we didn't point in the right direction, I guess.
yeah. The DNA matters, right? This is something where we'll talk about like your career after Wizards, but like it's not a technology company, Wizards of the Coast, right? And it's trying to figure out how to be more of a technology company, and it's been trying for a long time. That doesn't mean it won't get there. Like the D&D movie gets made eventually, and you're like, that's pretty great. So like progress happens, just not on the timeline you want. Um,
Think that Magic movie's ever gonna get made?
well, I mean, there's a show coming out on Netflix, so yes, to an extent. Well, I think that's going to continue going, but Netflix is they like change. They like change really fast. So, but I do think Magic has like great IP recognition. It fits into an audience that's valuable that Netflix should want to have on their house, especially if they figure out how to do games well or at all. Trying to remember why I was talking about the new. Oh, I see. If you're a certain type of company, like you have a competency, you go after a market, it's a lot easier than trying to extend beyond what your competencies are. And
Sure.
so the fact that they contracted digital, it was like, it's still, there's a lot of potential within that Magic IP and even in D&D beyond what they've done. Um, but it's not going to happen fast if that's not your DNA, right?
Yeah, yeah. And I feel like we also went back and forth between like external studios should be doing all our digital stuff. No, we can do it internally. No, externally. But that was another one that was like expanding and contracting in terms of mentality.
So I kind of wanted to talk about antics, um, things that happened at Wizards of the Coast. I'm not going to name names because naming names is wrong, but there was a game called Nutball, which was frequently played
Yeah,
at Wizards R&D, and there was, for whatever reason, like a dodgeball, and people could bounce the ball and then try to connect with the other person's anatomy. Or,
right,
do you have any
right.
memories of this? Like any
Yeah,
particular,
I
don't
played
name
Sea
names.
Nutball. There was a dodgeball because we also had dodgeball teams.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, yeah, I remember this now.
yeah, we played underdog dodgeball with a bunch of Wizards folks over a number of seasons. Did pretty well. But yeah, that's why the dodgeball was there. Yeah, it's just a very simplified version of dodgeball where you would bounce the ball and hope it would hit someone's anatomy. I don't know why we signed up for this. I played a number of games of nutball. I have someone in mind that I'm always playing against.
Yeah, no,
I don't
for
know if
sure.
that was true, but like when I think about it, it's always this one person who I guess we're not naming.
Well, the
Um,
thing is, I probably will talk to that person on one of these calls, and I'll trick them by saying that we're not naming the other person, and so this is just planting the seed for a future day. They're like, I don't want you to do the dirty work. I want the person themselves to commit the sin.
got it. Got it.
But did you win or lose? Were you a
I
winner?
think both. Yeah, yeah. I'm
Yeah,
sure that
give and take.
yeah, yeah. Give and take. Yeah. I think we would like put money on it sometimes too, right? There were like random bets that we would make. I
I feel like
remember
that's
winning
not
some
legal.
money. I remember winning some money because I like shot a carrot into a trash can. Like I was very proud of whatever that was because I won a significant amount of money off someone because I made a carrot shot.
So I want you to think about what you've said. So I talked to Mike Elliott. Mike Elliott is someone who I write a story about. I don't call him Mike Elliott, but he's like everyone's going to know it was Mike Elliott. And it's true if you know the storyline. There was a day in R&D where he was challenged to shoot free throws. Um, and in his the reason I bring it
Well, now
up
you've
is that
connected the name to the story.
it's fine. He is proud of his role in this story. But the reason I bring it up is because gambling was not legal at work. And so that Mike was very careful not to gamble on basketball
I see.
because of that role. And so, I know it's been 20-25 years, but you did
Yeah.
wrong, Brandon.
Statute of limitations is up. Sorry, can't get that for me.
No.
Is the
Yeah.
credit card game, is that at work too?
Were you a winner or a loser in the credit card game? I know who the real
Like
losers
I'm
were.
I
Yeah, I
I
think yeah.
maybe I'm just like an optimist in my brain, but I feel like I was up.
I mean, I know who was down, and it wasn't you. I've interviewed at least 2 of the 3 people I think were substantially down already.
Yeah. I remember
And that
being at a
wasn't yeah.
birthday party. Being at
Mhm.
a lot of people were at this person's birthday party with ex Wizards person. Um, and it's maybe like dozens of people, 20 some people. And we do credit card game and we do next level credit card game. Uh, uh, and the birthday guy lost.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And we were like, don't play. We were like, don't play. Like, you don't have to put any money. Like, we just got you. And he's like, no, no, I'm playing. I'm playing. And
Happy
he got
birthday.
crushed. Got crushed.
This this is
Poor,
heartbreaking.
poor guy.
This is, like,
Poor guy.
not a good thing people should do. Like,
Yeah.
why do people do
I
humans
don't
do
know.
terrible things. Nutball, credit card
Yep.
game, like, anything else that
Yeah. I'm a
you
terrible
remember
human.
that
I took joy from all of these things.
it's really funny to see what, like, at the end of one of these recordings, like, Substack will aggregate and cut the stories it thinks are interesting. And so I know I'm a terrible human will be one of the segments that come up. And I have to decide whether to share it and
Blame
distribute
you,
it so
Brian
that
Schneider, for
everyone
this story
knows.
across the internet.
I don't know what I'm doing, obviously. You're like, "Please shut up, Brian." Like, but it is a lot of fun. Who knows? I pitch it as like, I feel like I'm a monkey pressing buttons. Like, I don't use the internet. I haven't been on the internet for the entire time it's been around in terms of like Twitter and anywhere people could see you. I don't go usually, but it is pretty fun to just press buttons and see what happens as long as you're trying to do no harm. I'm not trying to hurt you, Brandon. You're hurting your
Right.
no, no, no. It's fine. It's fine. You chose to be here. Um, well, cool. You and I were at a lakeside cabin, co-ed vacation, and someone decided, "Hey, there's a pool here. There's a little baby, like a kiddie pool. Let's put oil in it and wrestle." Do you remember this?
Yep, these are things that happen too.
And for whatever reason, you and I got paired together. And like for anyone listening, Brandon is like thin and wiry, kind of lanky, and I'm like a bear, kind of bigger. So the question before we get to what happened is for the listeners really like, who do you think wins? Is it, I don't want to call you Shaggy, but I'll call you Shaggy and I'll say I'm Scooby Doo. Whatever. Let's go. Who wins, Shaggy or Scooby Doo if they're
Yeah,
oil wrestling in a kiddie pool? And you were harder to fight than I thought you would be.
I'll take that as a
Why?
compliment.
Do you have a reason for why you were the winner that day?
In my mind, it, like, got a little serious, like,
It got super serious. They got like
right?
it's like,
Like,
yeah, what's Lord
I
of the
think we both, like,
Flies?
wanted to win.
Yeah, we got people
I
watching us. Maybe there's side bets. Like,
of course, if we're betting. Um, yeah, there were probably some people that were trying to impress maybe.
oh yeah,
Um,
yeah.
I look on it fondly. I don't know.
You
I don't even
won.
I wouldn't even remembered that I won until this conversation.
Oh, I will never forget that. I've never oil wrestled a man again since this, or
Me neither.
anyone.
Me neither.
Yeah, I mean, I don't regret doing it. but I do remember feeling really sticky and unpleasant
That's
after.
the
So
part that I remember. It wouldn't come off. Like, I was in the shower, and I was just like, "I can't get this off."
do you hear what I hear?
What do we
Oh no,
hear?
I don't know. Someone just called me, but I hope it's not the school. That would be bad. But if they call again, I'll.
Okay, yeah, if you need to go, we can pause.
Like unprecedented. Distractions are not welcome. This is a very important podcast. Anyway,
Boy, does it not seem important.
no, it is us having fun and enjoying our lives. But let's see. Let's see if it comes back again. Um, yeah, well, what happens after? You kind of do my memory is you do a social good thing next. You care about people. You try to care about people on purpose.
Yeah, yeah. Wasn't right next, but yeah, I started a little startup to make games for social purpose. So I was trying to take you were at Zynga at the time probably. I was trying to take
Yeah.
what Zynga was doing and
Mhm,
point that stuff at like, hey, maybe we can raise money for charity. So we shipped a mobile game that was like a trivia mobile game, and you get to pick which charity you wanted to support and what actions of that charity you wanted to support.
mhm.
And we raised a little money for charity. It was fun. It was cool. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought it was really cool. I thought it was nice to see you chase down something you really cared about and make it happen. You were the CEO of goodness. You were Belinda before Wicked came out, right? When we could still have faith. Was she bad in the original?
She good. Like I don't. Like I'm not
Was
super
she
into the Wicked
bad?
lore, but like I think she's debatably
She's
good. I mean,
bad now. No, she's bad now, like pretty
okay.
clearly. But like, I don't know if she was bad initially or is the new story the true story? It's hard to know.
Well, the way we're telling this arc in this podcast, it seems like I went from bad to good.
Oh, I'm liking this. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think uh, I don't think Lynn's is actually a relevant character here, but some character probably goes from bad to good. It's the opposite of Walter White. But
Yes.
you
Yeah.
start off as you like the bad Walter White, and then you just over time become.
Nope, this is not true. I am not Walter White. I do not do anything
Oh,
that
right.
Walter White
I
did.
forgot that this is being recorded. Oh, having fun is dangerous. So I
Yep.
guess you did some other job. You went to Big Fish, maybe, or is that
Yeah,
what you
went
did?
to Big Fish. So
Yeah.
took my working on Facebook games on Tiny Adventures, and then took that into Big Fish. Worked on some Facebook games there, and then quickly mobile games became the thing.
Mhm.
Like Facebook games was like, oh, that's not important anymore. Now it's mobile games. Um, so then I did Game It Forward, which is that for nonprofits, and then I went to work on Wargaming's mobile group. Made some cool games there. This game,
And then you made the world a worse place. No, I'm just kidding.
yeah, it's like making the world good, and then I go to Wargaming.
No, like I'm thinking of like afterwards. So like you end up doing some marketing stuff for a while and then you go off and you join Rec Room, which is like a really interesting company, right? It's like kind of like Roadblocks in a way, right?
Yeah,
Is it better for people or worse for people than Roadblocks? And don't say anything you don't really want to say.
I don't think either are bad for people.
Oh, that's
Uh,
nice.
yeah, I think that was the reason I ended up at Rec Room was because I was kind of chasing that next cool platform, right? I went from Facebook to mobile, and then like Rec Room started out in VR, and I was like, oh, VR is cool. Like, let me see what's going on with that. And then quickly they expanded beyond VR. So by the time I was done, it was like the game on the most platforms. They were
Yeah.
mobile, they were console, they were web, um, VR, uh, and it was fun. It was an awesome group of people. I loved working there, and it was like a game for young kids and kind of teaching them how to be creative. And I think there's some
Yeah.
people that went through their time at Rec Room and have like built skills and maybe pointed themselves at a career from that. So I think that's good. Feel
I
good
think
about
that
that.
makes I worked on Episode, which allowed people to make interactive stories and learn how to write. And I felt like it was good for people too. It was, yeah, you could be entertained to death. Anyone can be entertained to death anywhere. But I thought teaching people how to write and have a community that helps them develop is wonderful. And I felt like Episode was the most like magic to me in terms of feeling that reward from doing something you think is actually helping people. So it's nice to hear you enjoying your Rec Room experience.
Yeah, yeah. I think definitely not good for the players.
I think it's interesting. So you're talking about chasing each platform, and now what you're working on is like there's no platform on purpose, right?
Yeah.
Walk me through that. It's kind of funny. The next platform is there's no
No
technology.
platform. Yeah,
What do you
so, this year or last year, 2025, I started working on live experiences. So the stuff we've been doing, it's like mix of a play and an escape room and sometimes like a weekend-long resort experience, but basically trying to get people away from their screens into
Mhm.
the real world, interacting with other humans in the real world, in, like, fun ways that make them, like, forget about everything that's going on in the real world.
And people can still do this.
People can still do this, yeah. It's possible.
Wow. And they don't have phones, right?
No phones, no phones. We encourage no phones. And hopefully we're providing enough entertainment and value that people don't even feel drawn to go to their pockets and grab their phone.
Wow. No platforms is the future platform.
Nope, that's it. That's it.
No, I dig it. Like, it's interesting. Yeah, I'm kind of curious how you decide what you want to work on next. This is something now where I have 20 ideas for what I want to do next, and they're all going to take all the time that I would put towards it. Like, how do you decide? Because there's so many different things you can do now. There's so much fun to be had as a creative person. How do you decide what your project is, what you're going to focus on?
Like often what I do is between one job and the next, I'll like dabble in something and see if it sticks. And sometimes it doesn't stick and sometimes it does. But with this one, with the live action stuff, like I've been doing little versions of it over the years on the side as a hobby. And then we did one big one at the start of 2025. We got commissioned to write a show for this theater. Um, and we did it and it was a huge show and I had so much fun like doing it. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to dedicate my 2025 to this. Like it's giving me a lot of energy. Feels like it's giving all these people that are coming a lot of energy. They're getting a lot of joy out of it. I can see that joy in real time. Um, and so like, let's focus on it for a year.
Yeah, I had this conversation last week with someone we worked with, and he was like, "Why do you do things like what you're describing now? Like, why did I write a book for my friends, basically, and my family? Why are you connecting with all these people?" And it's because it gives you energy and makes other people feel good, right? You're
Yeah.
like,
That's, I mean,
and
that's
he's like,
it, man.
"Why?"
That's
And
it.
they're like, "Why? Why?" I'm like, "That's just who I am and what I value." Right. So like I definitely can I've never had trouble relating to you, but in this moment, in this way specifically, we are alike.
Yeah. And I want to keep
Okay.
doing it. And
Yeah.
I'm finding new ways to do similar stuff in 2026.
Hmm. Okay. Yeah, I dig it. There are definitely things I have on my list of to-dos that could be more analog or more digital. There's just so many ways to exist right now. Um, but it'll be fun. Anyway, I'm excited to see how things transpire for you. I didn't get a chance to talk about this with Paul Barkley, but like how many Michelin stars, so he made the dinner for your last, like, how
So
many
good.
Michelin stars did he, like, earn there? Like,
It
no
was
one knows. Yeah.
It was so good. The highest we did a survey after the experience, and the highest rated thing in the survey was Paul Barclay's food that he cooked for the experience. Like it was above and beyond. The experience was themed to be like a White Lotus, like a fancy resort. And then there was mysterious things going on at the resort that the players had to solve. Um, but to deliver that White Lotus experience, we were like, we have to deliver like a high food experience. Like people are gonna value or devalue this experience based on the food. And I was like, Barkley, can you do it? And he's like, yep. And he did, knocked it out of the park.
Yeah, I think one of the themes of the calls that I've been doing are, like, everyone from 30 years ago or from the industry ends up being so creative and unexpectedly, right? Everyone has these weird talents. Paul is not going to be the only chef I talk to that's like Michelin star grade, right? It's like,
Yeah.
wow, these are really strange people that do really cool things, and certainly feel fortunate to have been part of this cohort of people.
Same, same. Yeah. And I feel fortunate to be able to do this weird art show puzzle stuff that I'm doing now. Like
Yeah,
it's because that I've spent the last couple decades in games and tech that I've, I'm afforded the ability to now make this stuff.
Are you gonna go back to making games or tech at some point?
Maybe. We'll see.
Alright, that was a good answer. No flinching.
I think
Tell me
2026, I'd really love to dedicate 2026 to continuing Curious Levity. That's the company that I have that's making these live things. And then we'll see.
do you remember Las Vegas at all?
Do I ever go to Las Vegas?
Do you remember it? Like
Oh, do I remember it? Yeah, we went a
yeah,
number of times.
we've been there a few times. Anything stand out for you that you
From our
don't
experiences?
yeah, that you won't get in trouble for?
Right, and there's a whole slogan about Vegas that says we shouldn't be having this
No. I'm
conversation.
not sure, like, if AI, advances, it would just, like, freeze the screen right there, and Las Vegas would mark it that I'm not allowed to have this conversation.
I don't know, I had a ton of fun in Vegas. We used to go every year with some Wizards friends of ours, um, and each trip was a wild story. I think you told a story in the book of, like, that's probably the standout story of Vegas. When we met, he was, like, a VP of Sears or Kmart or
Yeah.
something.
He owns Sears, like, all the Sears in the Las Vegas area, and we're just having a great time. We're all dressed up like complete clowns, like, we're
We
all
used
in
to wear these, like, extravagant suits, but, like, weird, like, brightly colored, wacky suits. We thought we were the
yeah.
coolest.
We were not the coolest, but we we had a ton of fun. And this guy, he's got a limo and he's like got all the ins and he gets us into the VIP section of the hottest club in town and we're having a great time. And then the next morning he calls us and tells us he got robbed at gunpoint by
Yeah.
two ladies he met at the club. But we were all like, at 3 o'clock, we went home because we're not actually fun. Not me anyway. You're fun. Poor guy. Anyway,
Yeah,
he
so
was,
he took him in his limo, and then they
yeah,
shook him down at some parking lot or something.
yeah. What
And then
happened to
I
the
remember
driver?
thinking that we were getting conned in some way. I remember thinking, like, when we heard that,
Yeah.
we're like,
Are
"Is
we
he
supposed to
running a
give him
long
money?
con on us or something? Are we supposed to go
Yeah.
help him?" And then, like,
Is
that's
he gonna watch this and, like, say, "Hey, here's your bill," you know?
I would love to talk to this guy. Like, what? I want the story, man.
Y yeah, I mean, I hope he's doing okay, like, Sears was not a good business to own, based on how history played out. That was maybe even the darkest undertone of everything is he owned a terrible business, like, one of the classic worst, right? The thing I remember from Vegas, which is, like, extremely G-rated, was, like, we didn't go to Vegas with the intention of gambling, that wasn't very fun, but there was one day we were at, like, New York or something, and they were just like, "Do you wanna do 45 minutes of user research to earn any Microsoft product you want?" And we were like we won, like, $500 each worth of software for our 45-minute investment, and it
What
was,
was
like,
the
so much
product? I
better.
don't
I don't know, and I don't know that we're allowed to talk about it even though it's been 25 years or whatever, but I think, uh, I got Microsoft Excel and you got Visio, and we got like $1,000 for free, and that was like the best earnings I've ever had in Vegas.
That's
Like,
yeah.
I wish the whole
45
town
minutes
was
doing
just
anything in Vegas is the most up you can get.
it was unreal. It's like, why not offer that all the time? I would go to Vegas on purpose just to do user research, right? And just earn all of these weird perks. I think, that would make Vegas, worthwhile in my eyes.
Yeah.
So you going to Vegas anytime soon?
I went not too long ago to go to the Sphere,
Oh, yeah,
which
yeah.
was pretty cool. I recommend it. Yeah, it was a neat
Mhm.
experience. I went and saw U2 there. Um,
Yeah.
I like U2. I'm not like the biggest U2 fan, but like
No one actually, I was gonna say no one is, but, like, I went to a U2 concert with, Mark Gottlieb because who's, a Wizards R&D employee, and, I was there to see Kings of Leon, but he was like, "I love you too." And about halfway through the U2 set, I was like, "I came and saw what I wanted.
oh
I
no,
am not comfortable with U2 fan energy," and I couldn't make it through, and it's a regret, right? I did this at a David Bowie concert. Like, sometimes you feel like, "Maybe I'm not supposed to be here." Like, there's some
oh,
kinda weird energy, and, like, U2 was definitely not my kind of energy. I was like, "This crowd is pretty different than the Kings of Leon crowd that I was relating to."
okay,
So, anyway,
okay.
do you feel that at, like, Vegas, or has it gone away in 25 years? You know what I mean?
I don't know. I feel like there was definitely like a
Mhm.
vibe that
Go
they were
on.
trying to broadcast, and whatever. I would hear a song that I recognize and I would get into it, but like I don't know if I was like totally vibing with the band's energy. But the Sphere itself was amazing. It was definitely a unique
Yeah, yeah.
experience, unlike anything I've seen before. Very impressive.
Cool. That's pretty cool. Could you so the wings question.
The wings question.
Can you eat 50 wings in 30 minutes? Can it be done?
I think so. I know the story you're referring to. I think it was 50 wings in 50 minutes. Um, and the answer to that is certainly yes. I've proven that. Don't recommend it. Do you remember who was there? Was it like Jessup
T
and
Tyler was there. Yeah. I
yeah,
mean, people who would enjoy watching you suffer,
yeah. So
were there.
again, another another group of Wizards people doing weird shit. Yeah, we went to Wing Dome or some Seattle wing place, and they bet me if I could eat 50 wings in I think 50 minutes. Uh, and I
Did
did.
this keep happening to you? Like, each company you went to, you had these same demonic coworkers who just kept pushing you through. Go on.
Unfortunately, there's a story here. Uh, so at uh, a more recent company, I did the one chip challenge. Do you know this?
No, no,
So
go
this is a
on.
company that made like it's just one corn chip, and it's spicy, a spicy corn chip, and you buy it just as one chip because it's so spicy, and that's the thing. And so I was like, yeah, I've eaten a ton of spicy stuff over the years. Like, sure, I'll do this. So me and a coworker did the one chip challenge. It was the spiciest thing I've ever eaten in my life, like insane. Uh, yeah, and there's video of me suffering through this, and my coworker, she's just kind of like, yeah, that's hot, and I am like sweating. Can't like stand in the same place. I'm like moving around. We were trying to see how long we could go without like drinking anything, and I'm like, all right, I'm done with that. Like, give me some yogurt or whatever. It was a lot. So I've kept doing dumb food
Mhm.
things over the years.
It's almost like it should be encouraged. You know what I mean? There should be like some, like you have your OKRs or whatever your goals, and then there's like a fourth hidden one that, like, if you don't hit, no one gets their bonus or whatnot. If no one successfully does the one chip challenge, your
Yeah,
culture has
well, I
failed.
mean, if that's what's on the line, no one gets their bonus. I would do the one chip challenge again. I'm happy to fall in that
I
sword.
mean, fired. I don't know what the job is, but you just got it, right? Everyone who's listening to this knows how dedicated you are to making the business successful, to caring about the team. That's something you did that, like, is unique. The organizational psychology thing, which is hard to say. You
Oh
went to
yeah,
grad school and got a master's in how to organize teams. Is that right?
yeah, basically, yeah.
What
Thanks
was it?
Wizards for helping with that. Um, that was great. Yeah, it was one of the like most impactful experiences of my life in terms of like who I am now.
Mhm.
Um, both the learnings about like how to organize humans and how to be a consultant at companies, and like there was a lot of like personal development stuff that happened in that program too that I feel like I got a lot of value out of. Um, and I think I was able to come and bring that some of that back to Wizards about like how to be more effective in meetings and there was some multiverse stuff that we like had a bunch of different departments that were failing to come together and figure that out, and I helped facilitate those conversations. So
Hmm,
it's both useful practically and like a lot of personal development stuff that I really appreciate.
okay, okay. Yeah, I mean, in my mind, I'm like, I wanna make you dance and say, like, a word and then have you give me a word in response. So if I said "splice," you would give, like, an improv style response, like, what does it make you feel when I say "splice"?
Splice, and we're
The
staying Magic
mechanic.
Zone, or you want me to just like
Yeah, yeah.
totally freeform?
Oh, I would say Magic Zone. We'll stay at
Okay,
Magic Zone. Yeah.
okay. Splice, unliked.
Yeah, what about Brady?
About Brady?
Yeah, is that too
Bomber move?
far-fetched? I like Brady. I actually had a great chat with him, like, a year or 2 ago. But, yeah,
How's he
we'll say
doing?
Brady. I think he's still, like, extremely creative and sharp. We talked for, like, an hour or 2, and I was, like, very happy and entertained and engaged. I was like, "Oh." Whenever I talk to anyone from this era, I'm like, "Oh, these were really smart people." And it's interesting having left and gone to other places where people think they're smart. Um, they're a different kind of smart where, I don't think we appreciated how powerful the minds were in R&D when we were there, because when you leave, like, you're working with a very different type of people that are coming from a different perspective. That's how I felt anyway. It's just different, right? The people who made Magic early on were different from the people I've worked with in Silicon Valley for sure. They're all really smart, but building a deep experience that's meant to be enduring is very different from trying to win fast in any direction you can, right?
Yeah. Every now and then I come across someone that I'm like, "Oh, you have very Magic R&D intelligence." Like I see that. I respect that. Brady was my boss on the creative team for quite a
Yeah.
while. Um, Made a lot of great choices for Magic Creative. Would love to catch up with him and see what he's doing. Brady, if you're listening, reach out. Let's chat.
What about Jeremy Cranford? I haven't reached out to him yet, but he was fun to work with, right?
Yeah, he was fun. He was the art director on the team for a while. Was an artist, and then art director. Super fun to work with. Hung out with him sometimes, bouncing around Capitol Hill in Seattle. That was fun.
What about I'm trying to figure out like a good one that's not going to get anyone in trouble. I'm not sure there is one.
I'm not going to slander anybody from
But
Wizards.
I wouldn't want you to be clear. I think we're all friends, so or at least I'm friends with everyone.
I mean, there were certainly fights we got into, debates we got into, wanting to do things in different ways.
Do we ever fight?
But like,
Do we ever
fight?
fight? What do we fight about?
Did we ever fight? Yeah, I think we fought. I think you like got frustrated with me sometimes about like
Oh, really?
either like what comes to my head is like we're playtesting together, and
Yes.
maybe I would be like trying to play a game of Magic, and you're like I already got what I needed out of this game of Magic. Like, can we
Oh,
please move
yeah.
on? And I'm like, we're playing Magic. All right, it's fun. And you're just like, no, it's already done.
Work
And then
is
you would also here's another thing.
Oh, yeah.
Your proxies were terrible.
Yeah,
You would
that's true.
proxy cards with just like terrible handwriting, scribble, 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 and then you'd be like, I play this, and I'm like, Brian, like you're doing whatever you want. Like the cards are illegible.
But I don't care if I win or lose or not. So it's like
Yeah.
it's just mayhem.
I think we were playing different games, different ways to play Magic, and that was kind of a little friction between us.
Yeah, there were people in the department. I think of like Paul Sotosanti and Devin Lowe. Like they would be very deliberate and slow. And all I care about is getting signal on whether or not we're making the game properly. I don't care if I win. I do not care. I don't want to play a game for fun. I want to understand if we're making something that's going to be great for the player. And so it was really interesting trying to shake people out of like wanting to have fun playing a game. Like yourself, you're so selfish. Policy.
I both respect you for that and feel bad for you for that.
Just you wish you had seen the 15 years I just worked, I'm sure.
Oh
It gets
boy.
worse. But this has been a lot
Think
of
about that
fun.
when you decide what to do next.
Yeah, I have already kind of like limited my scope for what I do next. It's either I continue creating things that I like, or I go work with people that I like and probably keep an innings limit so that I'm like keeping myself moving. Basically, I have to move 2 or 3 hours a day, and that helps me stay a great dad and human and alive. So, as long as I take a job that allows me to stay in balance with those things, it'll be fine. But I'm not interested in it's those two things. There's no like deviation. There's no, hey, why don't I start a rocket ship? I'm not doing that again. So I hear you, Brandon. I hear you. I would I hear you.
Okay.
Not like in this like last 3 times I said the same thing, you didn't say anything. But
I
if you had said something, I was paying attention.
I just thought of something while you were saying that. It's unrelated. Can I take us on a different
Yep.
direction?
It's actually your chat as much as mine. It seems
Good.
it's actually Brandon Bozzi. Your name is the one hanging on it.
Wait,
I
that's
no
broken.
longer even include my name in it. It's like, no, this is the person to blame if you hate it.
Brandon Bozzi
Yeah.
show. No, I do not want that.
No, go ahead.
But I am interested to talk about like how do I want to get into this? Okay, so at Rec Room,
Mhm.
our audience was a very young audience that we were
Yeah.
tailoring it to. And the kinds of and Rec Room is a game where you're building games for other players. And so there's hundreds and hundreds and millions of thousands of different experiences you can play on the platform.
Mhm.
And the stuff that was popular amongst this young audience was not the stuff that I would think would be popular, right? The stuff that I'm like,
Mhm.
oh, this is going to work. This is going to be good. They're kind of going in a different direction than what I would think about. So it's interesting to kind of learn, okay, what are the young kids like? What are they into? It's different than what I was into when I was young, but what are they into now? And you, I think, have a perspective of like you're in your kids' schools, you're you're teaching a class there maybe or something. Like, are
Yeah.
you getting some visibility into what that younger audience is like and what they're
Oh,
into
yeah.
and how they're going to be?
Oh, yeah, I wish I have some letters from the students. I taught a writing class, a creative writing class to the 4th grade, and I got great visibility into so the I created a pitch deck or a deck for us to walk through. And in that deck, it was like, I want you to tell me what it's like to be a 4th grader. And I walked them through this process, which is very different than a normal school because a creative process, I just want people firing and putting up stickies and creating this electricity. And at school, you're not allowed to do that, right? So, like, I changed the rules so that the kids could be empowered to tell me what it's like to be a 4th grader. And, if you're a girl, by and large, you hate 6-7, or you hated 6-7 when I taught the class a month ago, literally. And you're like, God, will the boys grow up? And then the boys are all just like 6, and then everyone goes 6-7, right? I think it's over now, unless you're really much younger. But I did learn like who's crackling with creative energy and who's not. Um, but it was quite wonderful to do, and they all wrote me and drew me pictures and letters and whatnot.
That's nice.
So yeah, I mean, I really like a lot of the things that my kids engage with. Some really great communities, and it's fun to be a part of it. My daughter's in the play and the musicals, so to do that kind of thing at this age, the parents have a lot of like contributing to do, and so it's really nice to see a community rally around making something great, even at an early age. That's a lot of fun. So, but yeah, I mean, teaching an English class was not any different than going to a room with you and Brady and Mark Rosewater and, talking, hearing you say smart things and exhausting my resources, every word you say. Um, I really miss it. I really do.
I
Um,
really miss it.
no, but it wasn't any different than leading a creative discussion with, a team. The 4th graders were still human, and wonderful despite their means. Um, and some really good ideas. There was a really good idea. This kid, um, was like, I was like, "Hey, if I could build tools for the class to help you learn,
Mm, mm.
what would you want?" And this one kid was like, "I want a cloning machine so that I can win the next election." And I was like, That's brilliant. I am not going to do that." And it was interesting from him. He has one very strong Republican parent and one very strong Democrat parent. And fascinating. I mean, I kinda wish I would do it for him because, like, I wanna know which way he's tilting. Like, which parent does he, like, listen to more? Which one is the
Yeah.
Kool-Aid working or not? I'm not gonna do it.
I'm amazed that that the 4th graders are political. Like,
I mean, blew me away. Like, this kid has gone well, I played him in, kindergarten. We played, dreidel for, for chocolate coins, and, he was kind of underhanded.
blame the school, Brian. Don't care about me.
It's not it was, you're making sense. Gambling games are bad. Don't gamble, kids. But he kinda stole some coins, and I
Okay.
called him, and then he gave me the coins back. He had a heart of gold
Mhm.
about his, like, Robin Hood heart, and, he's grown up to think much more. Watch out for that one is what I'm saying.
Well, he's still stealing coins, right? He's, making a cloning machine so he can steal an election.
I gotta give him credit. It's like, it's a
He's
really good
more
idea
clever, but
for a nine-year-old. You're like, "I am going to watch out for you." Like, "You have something going on here that's not 6-7. It's
yeah.
that's the one, like, that's the one to keep an eye on. Like, don't educate that one any further. Like, he good enough. Stop. Don't teach him anymore." I wonder if we should do that as a society. We just consciously decide who learns
This
and
one
who
knows too
doesn't.
much.
Actually, that's kinda how it works anyway, right? That was sad to say. That was a Blue State, Red State reference.
Oh, I see, I see.
Darker than it sounds. That's
You
not good
mentioned
though.
6-7,
Yeah.
my time at Rec Room didn't get to 6-7, but it was like surfing a wave of memes. Like, like, you would just see the meme content come in all the games and experiences they were creating on Rec Room, and then I was always, like, one meme behind, so I'm like, "Okay, what is, Skibbity Toilet," right, or whatever the meme was at the time, and then
At
trying to
the Rec
keep
Room
up.
Halloween party, you're always, like, out of fashion. That's what I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny, like, you don't have to play Roblox, do you? It's like, I have to play sometimes. Like, my child will be like, "I want to play Roblox, daddy," and I'm like, "Ugh."
I mean, when I was at Rec Room, I played some Roblox, right? They're similar games. So I wanted to see what was going on over there.
Yeah,
But no, I don't have children, so I don't. I'm not forced to play Roblox.
that's nice. What do you force yourself to do? What are you doing
Oh,
for
what do I force myself to do?
Yeah, are you, like, doing
Uh,
push-ups or anything?
yeah, I do force myself to do push-ups.
Mhm.
I've been more successful at that than forcing myself to meditate, which is another thing that I'm
Oh,
trying to do.
oh, that's
I think
nice.
I could do it. I've had stretches. I've had like months long stretches where I've been able to do it. And I'm like, if I could do that, I can keep it going. But it just always like falls off and then I fight to get it back.
I find
Um,
taking a walk is just meditation pretty much. If you, like, take a
that's
long walk. Yeah.
that's even hard for me to do. I'm like like
Really?
yeah, to get the momentum to get out the door and go do something, it feels really hard for me right now. Or it has felt really hard for me recently.
What's in your way?
Um I don't know, like, I just would rather be here doing stuff than
Yeah.
if I stack a couple things, if I, like not even one errand is not enough to get me out of the house, but if I stack a couple errands, like, "Oh, I'm gonna go get this lunch for me and my wife, and then also I'm gonna run to the store and pick up these things," then I can be like, "Okay," and then I'll take the long way, and I'll make a nice walk out of it. But if I don't have anything motivating to do in the world, I'm just like, "I'd rather be here."
Can I give you an idea?
Please?
Write a book and then tell people about it, and then they'll ask you for signed copies, and you'll have, like I went to the post office today. I go, like, 3 times a week, and
Huh?
for your legs, it would be good exercise. I would love to get a Brandon Bozzi book. I don't know what you write about. I would enjoy reading it, I'm sure.
What would I write about?
I don't know. That's actually a question to yourself.
I've been, like, a topic that's been bouncing around my mind recently is like ethics and like ethics for the modern world and
Oh,
like
yeah, that's a great topic.
I'm kind of mixing morals and ethics. Like I'm not sure how to disambiguate those two things, but like um I feel like we've like slipped so far away from kind of what I thought that was supposed to be in our world, and I'm like, what is that like now? So I don't know if it's writing or reading or something, but like I might write to just kind of get my thoughts out on it.
Mhm.
There's something there that I want to foster more thinking on, and so maybe I write around that.
Yeah, it's the title is "Wait, what?" Right? It's like, "What is going on?" Like,
Yeah, that
none of
is
this
kind of the title, yeah. You know,
like, I'm pretty sure we all agreed to play by certain rules that benefited all of us, and now
uh,
we're
dude,
not,
that's gone,
and,
man, that's gone.
I understand why it's gone. I think, be nice if we all got together at a table and just talked it out, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
wouldn't that probably be better than just not talking and just acting strongly in different direction?
yeah, I think so. But sometimes when we talk it out, like, it doesn't go anywhere, right? Like, I think you and I could talk it out. I think we got enough of
Oh,
a
yeah.
foundation, but, like, trying to get people that are across the aisle from you to talk it out with you, I don't know. I don't know. Why do you said you think you know why we got to the place that we are. Why do you think that is?
I think it's social media, and I think about it differently, probably. So we did some audience research on the social media crowd, particularly like the younger set, because we were looking at building a product for them. And the thing that social media has done is it's made it seem like a place that's safe to like speak authentically and boldly in any direction with no consequence. So the thing that people get the most value out of on social media, especially on the younger side, is just being able to advocate for anything they feel strongly about. And that ends up being like very problematic when you think about like trying to come to the table together, right? And so I think the impulse to like create an identity that you share that strongly believes in something ends up creating like a polarization that's hard to come back from. And so it's the comfortable place to express a strong opinion. And for whatever reason, people that we were friends with 20 years ago have hardened quite a bit in like certain directions. And you're like, it's hard to understand how to interact with you now.
Ooh,
Um, and I do think it comes wholly from that. I don't think it's like charted. I think it's actually like been the purpose of social media is to allow people who feel like they have a need to go express it in that way and become that identity, right? It's almost like weird therapy.
yeah.
Um,
And, like,
does that make
for, like,
sense? Yeah.
if you stand at, like, the start of social media,
Mhm.
I would think it could go either way, right? I would think it could go, "Hey, this could be a thing that brings people together, and it's very collaborative, and, um, we'll share ideas, and we'll learn from each other, and we'll be more
It was fun.
flexible because of that, because we see all these perspectives." Like, I think I would went in with that optimistic, my head pointed in that direction, and it has not turned out that way, obviously. But like,
Yeah, at a macro, what mattered most level, it has not. Like both things are true. At a micro level, I find Substack to be pretty interesting, right? There's so many different subcultures that can connect. Certainly Discord has a ton of that too. Um,
yeah, I love a Discord server, a Facebook group, even.
yeah.
Like, I think there's some value in those kind of smaller groups of community. But
Mhm.
like as a whole, social media, I feel like has pointed us in the wrong direction.
Yeah, I'm very interested to see what happens next. I think Substack is the platform that's I've liked best. It's not perfect. It's really hard to like design an algorithm to actually make sense. Like they're often like overly simplistic to the point where they punish the outliers you want to promote. So it's been interesting, like to see. I don't know what's going to happen. It's interesting seeing a push for 16 and up can't access social media anymore. I
Yeah,
think that's probably smart. But again, will we ever govern ourselves again? And that's kind of the question. Like, will we ever care about ourselves again and trying to like create a society that we want to have instead of just technology has overwhelmed everything because of speed and power. And so it's hard to govern that unless you're on the technology side helping to govern it down, or essentially eliminates its like rapidity and effect. So it'll be interesting to see if like we ever get to a point where we agree that like we want to behave in a certain way where we don't have social media everywhere all the time. That is a world that one could live in. You know, if China wanted to do it, I think it could do it. But the United States is like in a bizarre position where I don't think anyone's governed in a long time, right? That's what it feels like.
I think about how do we align the incentives, right? Like, I feel like
Yeah.
poor incentives have slipped us into this kind of social media and this kind of internet that we have that's like ad run. Um, like, when I think about ethics, I'm like, okay, yeah, we can go back and talk about what the ethics are, but like if the incentives don't line up to those ethics, I don't feel like we can get people to reach for them anymore.
Yeah, you see it in games too, right? Free to play on mobile ended up being just pretty grotesque in the types of experiences that have won out and the types of games that get made for business purposes. I wouldn't want people to play most of these things. They're not great entertainment vehicles. Um,
Yeah. That's not to
and
say like we both worked on those things too, I think,
yeah,
right? So
yeah, for sure.
my hands are dirty in that way. Um, and I think there's some good there too. But yeah, in general, I think we've kind of pointed our technology in a negative direction for
Yeah,
humanity.
I think that's right. There are wins and losses, but we've lost in the last 15 years in terms of like, well, I don't know. It's funny. I think there's ups and downs in history of like windows like this that end up being net positive. In 15 years, we might be much happier with where we're at. We just don't see it yet. Um, and it's hard to have your optimism given the state of today, but we don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, I think like in my mind, when you talk about the next 15 years or whatever, I think about AI. Um, and like my position on AI is kind of just like a position of curiosity. I'm just
Hmm.
like, okay, well, let's see where this turns out. Like, it's pretty interesting. People are using it in cool ways. Like, some people have an ethical issue with it. Like, I understand that perspective too. But I'm
Hmm.
just like, sit back and like see where this goes. It's almost like the eating popcorn meme. I'm
Oh
like,
yeah,
let's see what happens.
there's so much popcorn. I want to get a popcorn machine for the back here, just so I have constant enjoyment. Yeah, the AI one's interesting. I worked at a generative AI startup last, which was like kind of on the cutting edge of AI and in games anyway. So it's been, we had the conversation where the head of story, the head of art, and I are talking. We're like, are we going to obsolete ourselves when we start this company? And it certainly hasn't happened or felt that way. Um, we could never really cut resourcing down to do the kinds of things that we ended up wanting to do. We could do like high quality stuff faster with the bigger team, but we didn't get to a point where like one person is going off and doing everything. It ended up being I have seen that a bunch of times, and you hear the meme kind of from venture capital backed world where they're like, one person's going to create a big thing. And that's probably true, but like the right five people will make it better faster than that guy will. And so you don't need to have a gigantic team necessarily. The ethics part of it is an interesting one. Um, I haven't used AI much in a while. I didn't use AI for the book at all. I didn't use it for any aspect other than like Substack art, which is pretty common. Um, and so there's this question of like, does the next product I want to do be deep into AI or not at all tied to AI?
Yeah,
And I think it's really fun, but I don't want to sit at my desk 12 hours a day. And I think that AI is the thing that like it's a bit of a slot machine that makes you want to sit at your desk for a long
that's
time. And so
interesting. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I didn't think about it that way, but yeah, there's definitely some slot machine quality to it.
the dopamine hit aspect is really strong. I had so much fun doing it that I haven't done it since. I had like prototyped multiple things. I think it's so fun. And if I don't move, like it's really bad. So I like intentionally am like I know I would love playing around with it, and I actively am, like, still like, "Hmm, do I wanna go down that well?" Because I don't believe everyone needs to, like, know how to use AI, like, as experts. I do think it will be advantageous to those who do, but I think there'll be other avenues for people to play in that, like, are underappreciated. If everyone's zigging, don't zig, zag.
Yeah, yeah. How are you? You're talking about using it for creative things. How are you? What's your relationship with it? Just for like trying to gather information on something. Like you would Google search something. You would go to Wikipedia. Are you going to AI now instead?
I really I play around with both for things that I don't know that are common commonly referenced on the internet. So for like understanding how Substack works, like I'm trying to figure it out from the human side. I'm thinking very human centric, design oriented. I take that approach and just let myself fail a lot whenever I do anything deeply for the first time. But I do think like, hey, like how am I supposed to think about YouTube hashtags or like marketing the book? Like it's useful. I still find like I often love getting like going into Google and finding the Reddit thread. Those people who have done it before end up being the most valuable resources for me. But as like a helper, um, I will go there occasionally. I have to figure out like how does YouTube work. I had a video go out for Alex Fortsman. I sent it to the tabletop hashtag and not like a bigger one, but it's like done much better. And I'm like, I have no idea how anything works. And it's great to have these resources that might be able to give you more meaningful clues. But so far I'm still using both. I did try to use AI to like, I have a spreadsheet where I've collected like my OS, basically my operating system for how I like to live and how I like to like, plan out
I
my
want to see
career.
this.
Yeah, who doesn't? But OpenAI has seen this. And so we were working together on could I improve it? Could I automate it? Could I make an app that essentially allows me to have more
Mm,
control over actualizing everything I want to do? And I have a central console for, you know, partly my career, partly my life. And instead of living in a spreadsheet, can I live in an app that meets my needs better? And I would say I got really good feedback, but it was much worse at building that app than I would be. At
mm,
least OpenAI was in that flow. But I did get really good like signal when it looked at my spreadsheet and was like, you actually pretty much need to have fun every window of time at what you're doing. Like if you were like, hey, just be a data scientist grinding ads, like I would get bored. Like and so like it did do a great job of synthesizing how to think about like what a new checklist of like what I'm looking for should be.
mm. That's
So
cool.
I thought it was useful, but it was useful, but not as good at me at any decisions I need to make. So the way I frame it is I'm still first and second chair, but I didn't regret spending the time to figure it out.
Yeah, I find it useful as like to talk through ideas. Like I feel like it's very good as like you need to bounce some ideas off somebody. You need to think, help me think through this thing.
Yeah,
Right? And it's rarely giving me the answer, but it's
that's right.
definitely like pushing my thoughts forward. Um, yeah, it is a companion for my creativity in that way.
Yeah. Are you building with it, right? Like it doesn't seem like you would be since you're doing mostly analog things, but like You could. It's fun, right? I mean, that's something that I have a question about, which is like on Substack or the platforms of the future. Will people be building things together for each other, right? Is that going to be the new paradigm where you're writing today or you're sharing a picture today? Can you use a prompt to create something that's meaningful enough to interact with or share? I don't know if that'll ever happen, but it's certainly on my mind as a game maker and a storyteller. It feels like something I'm interested in, right? Can you create an IP and let an audience play with it directly in whatever means you want to support? That sounds really cool. There's a guy, the Archive in Between. Have you seen this?
Mm,
Um, yeah, he's pretty cool. He's got, you know, he has successfully built a universe and content that he builds, through with AI and himself. He's just doing it on the side, but he's built like this kind of it's not X-Files like, but it's got this eerie tone and anyone can create and add to it in their own way. And so there's stories and community built around this really cool universe that he's strung up. That seems really neat to me. And if that's a future of how IPs get created and played with, that sounds kind of wonderful to me. If it's something that um, if there's a platform that can support that kind of activity. So I'm interested to see what future platforms may be beyond just sharing half second attention things.
sure. When you talk about that stuff, I'm hearing like, is it different than something like Roblox or something like Rec Room? Because that's like a platform that you're being collaborative with your audience. Is it different because it's one IP that everyone's collaborating on? Like, how is it different in your mind?
I think it's that. It could be that it's like being vibe coded, so the community can potentially make it much faster.
Mhm.
Um, I think you can change the incentives too. The incentives for building on Roblox and Rec Room push towards really predatory designs that don't do anyone any favors, right? So, can you build a system that wins through different means than like being predators? That's something that I would wonder. And so there's this probably a curation aspect to the top. You have your design council or whatever that's helping orchestrate, make sure that things going where it wants to go. But it gives a lot of people an opportunity to be part of the design process in a way that's different from what you would do at a Wizards, right? Can you create a community that can actually make a game and run it well? That they love, right? I don't know, but I'm interested in that space because I think that's kind of where we're headed from a shape of business perspective. And also, it just sounds like fun. I don't know.
Yeah.
The tools are going to be available to allow that kind of thing to happen. And so, um,
Yeah, makes me think about, like, because we're talking about Wizards, like, is there a CCG model where you can just let people make cards and then somehow through the process, the community, something, the cards get filtered into play?
yeah, or Brandon Bozzi, Brian Schneider, and two other people who used to be like designer development team come together and they worked on a set with people who were interested, and they make it more of a way to connect with the design of the game. We could redo Kamigawa the way we could have, something like that. I don't know if that's like a big business, but it's a cool one. And I think it's one that people might really appreciate. Like there are a lot of people who've been designing games for a long time as a part of it. It might just be the kind of thing where you reinvent what Maven is or what classes are and turn it into something that ends up being a product so that people can feel like um, can actually make the things that they're doing instead of just learning skills that probably will not turn into like work impact, right?
Mm,
So, can you have a project based community that's like really helping people develop the skills they want to? I think about that a lot in the context of government too. If like we keep electing people who don't want government, like can we leverage AI to build infrastructure to have educational tools and social tools that don't rely on having a government agency to do
mm,
that? That's something
mm.
that interests me a lot too. So, how do you find the right like community structure and platform structure to support really deep initiatives like that to do the good that you don't want to rely on a central agency to do anymore?
Just
Does that make
listening
sense?
to
Yeah.
maybe it was Radiolab,
Mhm.
some NPR thing that was talking about an AI school. Like they're trying to like AI first in the curriculum and how the school runs. And it was pretty intriguing. Like I'm not like 100% full in on AI, but like this person was making a compelling case about it.
Here's one. We don't all have to grow up the same way. and we don't all have to have the same skills. It's pretty interesting. I have not had that thought before, but like, A, it's true anyway. B, like, it might just be that education where we have like everything shared across every person, like doesn't make any sense anymore. There's some
Mhm.
minimum requirement, and then ideally people specialize beyond like knowing who the president of the United States was at a certain time or place. Like it's useless. So it'll be interesting to see. Things don't evolve that fast usually, unless in like the human realm. In technology, they change rapidly, and as humans, like we're kind of beholden to technology for speed.
I feel like the thing that I would want to be across all the curriculum is like a thing that's not taught very much, which is like how to be a better human, right? Just how to be empathetic, how to live with other people in the world. I feel like that's one that's like not in most of the curriculum that I would be like, yeah, put that in all the curriculum, and the other stuff you can change up.
Yeah, yeah, it is kind of a strange setup. I don't. Yeah, it's also been like under supported and underfunded for most of our adult lives, right? Everyone's just been trying to kill it from the government perspective, from a costs angle, or restructuring it in ways that don't make much sense. As a country, we're not good at education. We don't like it for some reason, right? We were, I
Seems
guess,
like
for secondary.
what's that?
For secondary education, I think U.S. was much better. But thinking in terms of teacher payment and all kinds of things, like it's not a system built to succeed. Other countries do it much more aggressively, but they have less people usually.
I'm trying to figure out how to bring this back to games in my mind. I'm like, well, how do we bring this back to?
Oh, we're supposed to care about games, right?
I don't know. It seems like the context, like the broad
Oh yeah,
context of this.
yeah, yeah. I think games are in a weird time. It's funny everyone's not working anymore, right? Who still has a job? A lot of the studios closed down. I think
Yeah,
the companies we
makes
were
sense.
just at are still going. Yeah, it's a weird time. It's not clear what game companies are even trying to do. What would you even launch as a game right now? It seems like a business you don't want to be in, right?
Yeah, I think what I would launch is what I'm doing right now. Like it's not really a game, but it's certainly leveraging my experience in games
Mhm.
to create compelling real life experiences. Um, I don't know that if your goal of launching something is to make $1 billion, like that's probably not what I would tell you to do.
Yeah,
But if like we were talking earlier, if your goal of doing it is like get energy and bring joy to people, then like yeah, seems like a pretty good way to do it.
yeah, that's certainly how I would bias too. I think when we talk about the games industry, the former that you mentioned, the one where you're trying to make $1 billion on a product, is the part that's like the doors may have closed because distribution or marketing is closed off to you. But if you can actually make something valuable for a smaller group, it's much more impactful. Um, you're certainly similarly aligned to where I am headspace wise, for sure.
I feel like you said smaller group. It made me think of like um, a lot of the startups that I've worked at. I feel like had very like growth mentality, both internally with the company and then to the audience. And I'm like, well, I wonder what this would have been like if we kept the team small and we grew to our like pretty big audience and we were just like content at making that the best we could. Um, like there's something like in my core that like wants to do that. Like
Me too.
let's get our small dedicated audience and our small dedicated group of creators and like let's just make some cool shit. Um, and I think there can be a sustainable amount of money in that for people too. But it doesn't need to be, grow to the max.
Yeah, it was funny talking with Brad Ross last week. Bradley was the CEO at Captain TV. And I think if we had just made that first game successful, the company ends up being successful. But the investors don't want that, from the sense of like it's a healthy lifestyle business that actually makes, 10, 20, 30 million a year. For us, that would be wonderful. We could work with people we like for people we like. And like it's a whole thing that's, I think, the dream. But for an investor, it's not. And so how do you reinvest? Yeah, for people like us, like I guess we just go off and do our own things and just don't worry about taking money. But you wish that there was more support for it, right? This is where like Canada would support startups to go off and do certain things. There are cultural contributions that people can earn to go off and do interesting things that help the community in ways that are more organic and less like muscular. I'd see it as like, let's do the most muscular thing
Mm, mhm.
every time out. And it's exhausting, to be frank. And also like hollow, completely hollow, to just make money and make power and not actually care about anything else.
And sometimes there's a you're saying hollow, like, sometimes there's, like, a heartful core there, and then it just kinda gets hollow around that, right? You have this big
Yeah.
space of hollowness, and I'm like, "Yeah, but they're like, there is something. There's that heartful core, like, can we stay closer to that?" Yeah, I don't know.
Is there a platform that says I have heart? Which platform has the biggest heart? Oh,
Which
I'm forced the
platform has the
biggest.
biggest heart?
Yeah. Which platform has the biggest heart? And you're thinking about does it closest to right?
What do we mean by platforms?
I mean social
Okay,
platforms.
okay. Um, yeah, I don't know, man. Do you have
I
one?
know. No, it's intentionally asked at you. I can't answer by my own
Yeah.
question.
I don't know, maybe Discord if I had to, like, if I
Yeah.
had to pick one? Discord fe like, my time on Discord feels like I'm connecting with humans that are passionate about stuff. Um, you know, maybe there's a little ad in the corner where they're trying to make me do something to get a widget or whatever, but, like, 95% of my experience on Discord feels like, "This is pretty good. This is community
So
building."
make the
Right?
world
What
out of Discord. Everyone has to use Discord. Like we could do, like everyone had to use AI like 2 years ago, right? You're like everyone. Doesn't matter if you're giving birth to a child or not. Figure out how to do it with AI. And in this case, it's
it's the most one that feels like community to me. I feel like everyone is talking about, like, building communities, but, like, when I look across all my social media, I'm like, "Okay, Discord feels like the most of, like, every server is a little community. Some of them are just like me and 3 people I like. Some of them are huge fan groups for a certain thing, but it all
yeah.
feels like we're in a community around something.
Okay. Why
What's
not
yours?
just build entertainment around Discord?
What would that look like?
I have no idea. In fact, they've tried and like they have had businesses launch. I think it's one of those things that's like ever evolving. One of the actually awesome venture capital folks that like was consulting with us at the series um, is like he just posted. He was like, I just created this pipeline to generate different Discord servers, and people are engaging with this cool fiction he's created. And I was like, oh, that sounds really fun. So I think Discord will eventually allow some development to be interesting within its ecosystem, but it hasn't won out yet because you don't want to. Any mistake is painful to an extent, like where Facebook had these spammy games everywhere, and we all want to throw the thing out. So everyone's been kind of afraid of giving enough market share, and that's what actually brings good developers to the yard is enough market share and opportunity to make it worth it, right?
Yeah.
Um, I like Substack so far. I think it's kind of unique to my brain where you can have this forum for long form content, and that's what you usually email out unless you accidentally press the wrong button. Sorry, everybody. Um, and then for me, I always have these weird little snippets of like bad ideas that I want to share, but like most of my audience doesn't want to hear it. In fact, they're like, "Why do you do this? I wish you would stop." But like on Substack, you can post these notes and like you don't know who's going to see them, but it's not your family and friends by and large. So like any like weird, funny joke idea you have, you can throw out there. And so it's built for you to like go and explore while also doing your core substantial thing. Um, it's also nice. Like it's quite positive, which is nice. You can
Okay.
you can have the ecosystem filter to whatever you want, but by and large, the controls are there that like there's not a lot of like I don't feel unsafe on the platform where other places I think I did.
I my experience with Substack is 99% you. Um,
Yeah,
so I don't have a lot of time playing around in it. But hearing you
it's
talk about
cool.
it and connecting with alternate worlds through it, I'm like, okay, maybe there's something I should be paying more attention to. Um, so I've got my account now, and I might poke around a little bit and see what's there. For me right now, it's not inspiring me to create on it, but maybe when I spend more time on it, it will be.
I find the creation aspect to be really fun. Like all this stuff is available and free. You're like, all right, whatever. I'm a monkey pressing buttons. Let's go. Um, I think it's tool as a tool set, it's been pretty cool. Um, every different platform has their own approach on how to make you just spend your time on it, right? So if you're doing a lot of video stuff, you're on TikTok and Instagram, maybe Snapchat. I think, but if you're into writing, I'm a writer. So for me, having a platform where I can share writing and organize everyone in a place has been really nice. And then this
Yeah.
video functionality kind of rocks. I quite enjoy it. And if
Nice.
we could ever like build things together, I think that could be really fun too. There's this big book publishing vibe here. So could you build a book publishing simulation game that gives
Oh,
you a feeling of success? Would that be something the audience would want or not? It's a community that's not, you don't think of as a gaming community normally, but like everyone can act like build their own apps that connect to different facets of the community to potentially connect. So it is cool. There are interesting opportunities, but for games, you should probably build on Discord or existing platforms.
yeah. I'm trying. You said you're a writer, and I'm like, oh, maybe I haven't been drawn to Substack because I don't think of my like writing as my expression. But like, I do think of world building as my expression, and I
Yeah.
wonder if there's um, a platform for that on Substack.
Yeah, they're definitely world builders. It's been interesting, like gaming on Substack. There was a cohort of extreme idealists. Substack's a capitalist enterprise, and so they're a startup. They're going to behave in a certain kind of way. And so a lot of the gaming ecosystem seems to have gotten off of Substack for some sort of like political seeming reason.
Uh,
But the group that stayed is into TTRPG and world building and RPGs, and that group is pretty strong here. And there are some pretty interesting people that like go deep in like these esoteric lanes that are, I find really cool that are also not in my interest range, but like I like that they exist. So there's this like, oh, there's a bunch of different magazines, and um, if any magazine appeals to you, that's cool. Otherwise, I think if I didn't use Substack, that would be okay too. Um, but I think there are some really strong creators here that are fun to follow, and you kind of move around over time, just like you do in your creative life, right?
yeah, and it's intriguing that you're going deep on it. It certainly makes me think more about it.
Yeah, it's fun to exist. I'll say that, right? You're like, oh, like for a long time, like even I'll talk to Randy, I think in a week or two, and like I always kind of like he was like my shield, right? He was a shield for all of us for a while, right? He was more mature and, really smart guy, but like I could kind of hide behind him. And for a long time, I could hide behind people, but it's fun to exist, right? You're like, oh,
Sure.
I'm old now. I could exist. I do things. I think, you've started your own things a few times, companies and projects. Um,
Yeah, I had
and
I
so
had to be in front when I did those things. Yeah.
yeah, it definitely feels like that's the natural paradigm for me now, as opposed to hiding behind some other smart person and just being as helpful as possible. But again, it kind of depends on what you want. But it is pretty fun.
I'm excited to see what comes of you
Oh,
stepping into the front.
do you want to be on a panel for MagicCon to talk about making magic in the 2000s? Paul Barkley, blame him. He's the one who was like, "Hey, man, you want to do this with these guys?" I'm like, I was going to MagicCon to show my daughter how to do special art because there's so many great artists and she loves art. So I was like, maybe, they could teach her some things and she would love it. But Paul had this idea. You want to get on
Uh,
stage and
I
embarrass yourself?
I may have other obligations that weekend. I have
Yeah.
signed up for something. I don't know if it's gonna pan out or not. But very likely I will be doing something else that weekend.
Oh, that's intriguing. And don't tell me.
I cannot right now tell you.
That's excellent. That
Yeah,
means we should talk after this call for sure. Maybe we should even end this call to talk about it.
sounds good. Let's end it with a mystery of what we're gonna talk about.
Sounds good. I'll see you in a couple months at the latest.
All right, sounds good
Thanks for the time.
and fun.
Take it easy.